The Spanish streets of Toledo wind in patternless shapes, inviting wanderers like me to choose their own adventure in its infinite combination of labyrinthine passageways so narrow that locals call them las calles estrechas. Majestic castle walls built by the Iberians in 192 BCE encircle the city to divide Toledo into old and new. The mechanical escalators intermediate between the new nightclubs and Hilton of the Casco Urbano below and the Casco Antiguo with its ancient cathedrals and castles, fortressed inside. My friends and I first navigated the confusion of the calles to find our last clue, a small Virgin Mary, and win the scavenger hunt. My prize? A box of marzipan. Sitting on a bench in the mid-afternoon heat outside La Universidad de Castilla de la Mancha, I removed the lid of the green box and took my first bite into a little beige ball of dough rolled into a twisty design. Its smoothness shocked me, tasting like gooey pretzel dough, a little salty and sweet, its sugar granules crunching between my molars. Not overpowering, marzipan's taste was subtly delicious, like the bland beige of its exterior, the same color as the rocky streets and sandy hillsides, belying a solid confidence of the Toledoans that knew and loved the powerful history behind their delicacies of town and marzipan. History tells of the bloody clashes when the Moors invaded Spain in 711, but what is ignored was a curious collaboration between these peoples. The Arabs, who knew how to bake a similar almond paste since mention of it in the Book of 1001 Nights, brought knowledge to the Spanish land of abundant almond trees, the main ingredient of marzipan, and the Toledo nuns who mastered the art of its mass reproduction. Seated at the dinner table with my host family, I pulled out my green box. Anna smiled. I offered some to Manolo, but she explained he was diabetic. "No te preocupes," she said. I thought she meant not to worry about his diabetes. After the meal, in the dark, she stole into the kitchen and snuck a piece, and I knew she meant not to worry about the marzipan. Surely it would be eaten. I began to notice how the culinary arts de los calles sweeten the tables of Toledo. Marzipanes de Toledo, or marzipan shops, dot the streets with the frequency of a Starbucks in the United States. Deservedly called artisans, marzipan makers follow the mandate from the Council of Toledo that almonds comprise 50% of the total weight. The United States requires 28%. Leonardo da Vinci recognized marzipan's architectural capabilities to make statues of himself, but he was furious when his friends ate him. The Italian molded a tradition of marzipan statues that continues to uphold today, even in absurd forms. Like da Vinci's anger towards his friends, I was bothered to stand in La Plaza de Zocolovert and watch tourists drape themselves over the shoulder of Miguel de Cervantes and poke his iron collar, blind to his role as Spain's most famous author and creator of the endearing Don Quixote. In the same plaza where I had watched true native Spaniards parade through for their holy celebrations, Da Vinci and I were taken aback by the capability of human ignorance to so carelessly behead and blaspheme sacred places and things. Marzipan even appears in the book of Don Quixote's adventures. A boy of 16, with one thrust of his sword, fells a giant as big as a tower, and splits him in two, as if he were marzipan. His metaphor is perfect. Almost like Play-Doh, marzipan is easily sliceable and shareable. and a culinary pride of Toledo. I brought the box onto the bus and hands immediately dug in. My professor didn't protest when I said yes, he could have more than one piece. Not a staple but a sweetener, ancient Christians used to gather around the table, eat marzipan, and celebrate La Navidad. During my first week in Toledo, the Virgin Mary gave me a gift. A green box to discover family and friends, and perceptive eyes to the marzipan makers inside the stores, lining the cobblestone cayuse of my wandering.